What's up, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Welcome back to the poker vlog. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm just kidding. My name is Justin. Ethan has stopped by my studio and we're all playing Poker Bros right now, so Max DJing.
But we'll be at the bike later.
God. Oh God. So the plan is play Poker Bros right now and then free roll at the casino? Hey, not the worst idea I've ever heard of.
What a welcome to LA. All right, guys, we made it back into the bike here with my boy Justin. You saw some DJing stuff earlier. Late night session. It's midnight.
It is exactly 12:32.
First night in LA, hot start. Here outside the bike here, brand new room outside. Hopefully enjoy the B-roll footage. Play some 5-5. We'll mix it up together. See how this goes. Hopefully enjoy the video. Cue the B-roll, Carl. We hop into the 5-5 bike, 1K max buy-in, and we're playing 8-handed. This first hand here, ace-8 of diamonds under the gun. It's a little loose, but we're early in the session. I opened it up to $20. We get the +1 player to make the call, then 3 others call behind. It's going to be a theme in this video, multi-way pots. The flop comes ace, 10, 5, 2 spades, and the small blind actually leads out for $40. This $40 bet, way too small. Even with top pair, it's pretty vulnerable, and I've also just seen him do a lot of crazy things. For example, he called down 3 streets with 10 deuce high. Yes, I'm not making that up. Anyways, I decided to raise it up to $130 just to isolate the field, get this heads up and in position. Unfortunately, action folds around and the small blind folds as well. So first hand in, we'll take this down with top pair, picking up this pot. Second hand in, actually a real hand now, pocket kings in the small blind. Under the gun player opens it up to $20. The button makes the call. He's the player to my right, and he's the action player at this table. He calls. Here, with the under the gun player who looks like a solid player and definitely a narrower range, definitely going to put in that 3 bet, so I size to $125. The under the gun player tanks and ends up folding, which is fine, because I assume I'm going to play this hand heads up against the button. As he's literally playing 100% of hands, he makes the call. Let's try to build a pot against him as he covers us. The flop comes queen, 9, 8, 2 hearts. Really wet board, super connected, but I know he can call pretty light. I decided to just try to get stacks in here. I overbet the pot to $300. If he calls bets with 10 high, I think we can just try to exploit that and size up really big. Can he call with a pair here? Unfortunately not, he snap folds and we're taking it down. This next hand here in early position with an under the gun straddle playing 5-5-10. The player to my right, same player that we've been trying to get involved with, he opens it up to $20, the nice min raise. Easy 3-bet spot here. I size up a little bit larger to try to thin out the field. I go to $75. It folds around to the under the gun straddler who decides to make the call, and the next player to my right calls as well. 3 ways to the flop, which comes king, 4, 7, all spades. Good enough flop for us with top, so when the under the gun player checks, the player to my right now actually donk leads for $60. This is once again a really small bet, and against this player, way too small in position, so we're certainly going to charge it up. I size up to $300. This folds out the under the gun player, and now the player to my right is pretty hesitant about it, and given his demeanor, doesn't look like we're beat yet, so that's always good news. So when he does make the call, I'm really just trying to avoid seeing a spade and move on from that. So he covers us, and we're playing $900 total. The turn comes the 6 of hearts. It's good enough for us. Board a little bit more connected, but against this player, he could have literally anything. He checks, and I'm going to continue with my plan here to just get all the money in here with top. I rip it all in for $903 total. After tanking for quite some time, he makes the laydown, unfortunately. He asked us if I had a flush. Obviously, I did not. Unfortunate there that we didn't get him to commit a stack, but we'll chip up. Getting back into the action with ace-jack of clubs in the small blind. Once again, under the gun straddle, so 5-5-10. There's one limper, and the hijack raises it up to $20. The action player makes the call, and unfortunately, he doesn't have a crazy stack anymore. He's only got about 230 in there due to just how he was playing the whole time. Anyways, on to me now. Out of position with a straddled pot. Definitely going to put in the 3-bet with ace-jack suited, so I size to $140. Action ends up folding all the way back to the player on the button to my right, and he tanks for a while, and of course he's going to be making the call, so we're going to see a flop. Heads up, he's got 90 left, and I'm just pretty much going to be auto-jamming any flop, as ace-jack high is definitely good here. The flop comes king, jack, 7, 2 diamonds, and a club. Good enough for us with middle pair and backdoor club draw. Definitely going to just put it all in. It's $900 effective. He tanks again for a while and ends up making the fold. So that's pretty sad. Feels like I missed $90 of value since I pretty much expected him to call anything, even with 10 high in this situation. Next spot we go with jack 10 of clubs in the hijack. Once again, there's a straddle on board. There's an early limper, and I decided to raise it up to $30. This seems pretty small, probably could have sized up, but doesn't matter because action ensues as 5 players make the call. We're playing 8-handed, and we're going 6-handed to the flop. And the flop is interesting. Queen 9-7, 2 hearts, and 1 club. Certainly good enough. And now the small blind actually leads out for $85. Wow. Interesting spot to donk lead into a field of 6 players, but here we are. The early position who limped makes the call for 85, and now I'm in position against this action with the open-ended draw and the clubs to go along with it. I decided to make the call pretty standard here to put in 85. We get some bad news as the button next to act, he rips his whole stack in there for 295 total. This is a pretty interesting spot because I think if the small blind were to make the call here, I feel like we're very obligated to continue with 500 in the middle. But no, we don't get to that decision point as the small blind puts in the 3-bet to $690 total. Early position player folds, and onto me. Given 2-1 on a call here, obviously not priced in here, and also, if I make the call, I only have 1,000 behind, he has 700 behind, clearly no fold equity. This would be a hell of a punt if I decide to jam this, so definitely not worth it. I like to fold, and we're off to sweat out a runout against those two. The runout does not improve us. The button shows 4-5 of hearts for the heart draw and turn to pair. And the small blind shows queen 10 off suits. Holy shit, that is very, very light to isolate here. And that's good information for us later down the line. Rapid fire through these next hands here. King jack of spades +1. I open up to 20. And of course, multi-way to the flop again as there are 3 players that make the call. So 4 ways to the flop, which comes king 3-5 2 clubs. I throw out a bet of $60 with top pair, mediocre kicker, but still top pair. The player to my left, Justin, who was in the intro here, he makes the call, who covers me, and then another player to his left as well makes the call, so he's also in position. So we're going from 4 ways to the flop to 3 ways to the turn. Turn is the 10 of clubs. This is not the card we're looking for. Definitely didn't want a club here multi-way. So I decided to check. Justin throws out a bet of $75. And when the other player makes the call, I'm clearly not good here with top pair, unfortunately. We're just going to have to lay this one down and fold. The river comes a total blank. Just don't really remember it. Just spectating the action here. Justin throws out a bet of $125. The other guy jams about $250. Before he can even get the chips in the middle, Justin's all in, snap call, beats him to the pot, and Justin shows ace-9 of clubs for the nut flush. Meanwhile, the other player had pocket 10s for a turned set. Pretty cooler turn there. Nice hand, Justin. All right, we haven't really been winning too many hands here, but this time with queen 10 of spades on the button with an under the gun straddle. There are 4 limps to me, 4 calls of this straddle, and we are certainly not going to be playing for this small amounts. I raise it up to $80. Let's try to thin out the field here with our suited Broadway cards. +1, who limped, makes the call, and then the low jack also calls as well. So 3 ways to the flop, which comes ace king for rainbow. Not really amazing for our specific hand, but obviously crushes our range. So when the players check to me, just going to have to bet my range here and bets $125. The player who limped in +1 tanks and then folds. Then the low jack makes the call with about $600 behind. I'm very curious about what this limping range could be like. I feel like maybe sometimes wheel aces, maybe like some sort of king 10 hand. We'll see. The turn comes the 9 of clubs, brings in the backdoor flush draw, and once again he checks. I don't think I'm going to give up here with our gutter and just repping ace kings and ace x's in the world. So I size to 175, and I'm just going to be planning on jamming the river. Because he's pretty short with 600 in his stack, there's no real sizing I can make on the river here if I went any larger. But it doesn't come to that because he rips it all in for 600 total, and I snap fold. Very frustrated so far. The last few hands have not gone my way. All right, last hand of the night, 5-6 of hearts on the cutoff, and here I raise it up to $25 over 1 limper. Of course, did you really think we're going to heads up to this? There are 3 callers of this 25, and we're going 4 ways to the flop in position. The flop is 9, 3, 4, 2 clubs and a heart. So similar situation as the Jack 10 hand with the open-ended and backdoor hearts. The small blind now leads out for $75. This is the same player from the Queen 10 hand, or when we had Jack 10, he ISO'd to $700 with Queen 10. It's this guy. The original limper makes the call, and here I think I'm just going to flat. Certainly can raise on the flop, but I think that considering that we're going multi-way to a run out here, I don't really want to increase the variance and bloat up the pot with 6 high. So I make the call, and the other player folds, so 3 ways to the turn. Turn is the Queen of Diamonds. It doesn't really bring too much help to us, but since we did raise pre, certainly can hit our range more than his. The small blind bets out $195 again. Now the limper folds, and now we have a decision to make for sure. I can definitely flat here, considering it seems really likely that this small blind isn't going to be repping clubs too often, or just doesn't really have a club draw when he bets 2 straights here into the field. If I make the call, we're sitting about $800 deep, and he covers us. So yeah, we're going to call, and we can rep clubs if we get there. If we hit our open-ended draw, then amazing. So let's do it. The river comes the King of Hearts. What an absolute brick for our specific hand. Although our hand is pretty uncapped here on this board, as we do hit a lot of the King, Queen, X's of the world. Anyways, he once again bets $205, and he's gone for very thin value in the past. The fact that he kind of overplayed the Queen 10 hand makes me believe that this isn't necessarily nutted all the time. Although I would say that most tendencies here are probably going to be like sets or 2-pair, like 3-4 suited combos. Hands like of that nature, but seeing that this player can overplay or go for very, very thin value with like 9x holding, I think we could just have to go with it. We're certainly not going to win by folding 6 high. Let's rip it all in there. Let's go for all of it. I jam for $800 pretty much total. And he goes well into the tank for probably like a minute and a half. And it seemed like an absolute eternity to me. I get super nervous, but no need to bore you guys out and sweat it out real time. He makes the lay down. We show our 6 high, because if you're going to jam 6 high, you kind of have to show sometimes. He's not happy about it, but let's freaking go. We got this bluff through. This was really big, and we're back into the profit.
And we're out.
Oh,
What a
Jeff
session.
Boski action?
A little bit. Because it kind of looked like Encore. This
It really
kind of looks like Encore. Yeah, so shout out to Jeff Boski. Justin, how did you do?
Honestly, like way better than I expected. I was donking at first. I was trying to go for a 5 high bluff for like my whole stack. Lost it.
It needs to be a 6 high bluff to work.
I know.
So
that's fucking savage.
That's where you fucked
But
up there.
up 2K. I don't know how that happened.
Great fucking night. Kid ran it up hot literally the whole time. His nut flush over my top pair, no good. My top pair was no good. That last hand, I was so nervous.
My question for
Literally.
you is, How clenched was your asshole? There's no daylight. There's no air in there.
Yeah, it was clenched. It was clenched. Looking back, really not smart, but it worked out. So here we are. In for 1,000, out for 1,665 in like 2 hours played, 3 hours played.
Yeah, no more
Solid
than 3
day.
hours.
We both kind of crushed the table. It was nice.
Let's go.
It's 4 a.m. We're going to bed. It's 7 a.m. my time. Not great. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. More LA vlogs to come. Probably more with this kid.
Yeah, let's go.
Later.
Peace.